Thank you for coming in and for your interest in our company and the position. I would like to use this interview productively to learn as much as possible about you in a relatively short period of time. I'm going to lead our conversation with questions, but you are more than welcome to jump in and to ask me whatever you might consider useful about the company or about the role. I'm also going to take a few notes on my laptop, and I hope that isn't too distracting. Let's start with tell me about yourself question. Who are you? What have you studied so far? What has been your experience?
Thank you for your question. My name is Deris Sekar, and I'm 20 years old. I live at Lunjuk Jaya, Lorong Seroja 3, Palembang, and I'm first graduated from State Polytechnic of Sriwijaya, and I took English department as my major. And about my experience, I used to work as a waitress at Batika Hotel and as a chef assistant at the Grand Zuri Hotel.
Okay, so why did you choose that particular major and at that particular school?
About my major and experience, I'm from State Polytechnic of Sriwijaya and I took English department as my major. And in this major, instead of only learn about languages, I also learned about hospitality industry, which include tourism, public speaking, food and beverage, customer service, and other. So in this major, I had learned many things so I can improve my skill.
During your preparation for this interview, I guess you thought about what you do the best. What are your biggest strengths? And how do you think our company would benefit from them?
My biggest strength is I'm a thoughtful person. I'm kind of person who think first before doing some action, but doesn't mean that just being passive and did nothing, but more like take initiative in consideration. And because I have read the description of this job advertisement of your company from Google, that this position needs someone who can work hard with consideration and doing their work carefully, and this is one of the reasons why I applied this job in your company.
What about your development areas? What do you have identified as your greatest and biggest improvement areas? And what have you done to improve them so far?
For my development area is about my weakness, and I'm too focused to details, so I do my work ideally and not flexible enough, and sometimes takes more time to finish my project. But still there's advantage, and the project will minimum of mistakes. But from this I could learn to improve myself, to adapt to my work, and pay attention to the project itself to minimize the mistakes.
I see on your resume that you had switched jobs not too long ago. Why did you leave your previous position? Why are you interviewing with me today? What made you apply for this job, and why do you want to work here?
The reason why I left my previous job was because I wanted to gain more experience and I want to expand myself to find out to what extent the ability and contribution I could make to the company. And I expect for the challenge, and I love to improve my skills and ability in your company.
Okay, so now tell me about a time when you were in charge of a project with a deadline. Which was the project and how did you meet the deadline?
The deadline is very important to the employees because with deadline we're able to know the time limits of our project, and that's why we make careful and disciplined to finish our project in time. So that's why the deadline is very important to me.
So tell me about a time when you showed an initiative on the job. When was it and which was the outcome?
I do my initiative by sharing my ideas and do my best and give all that I can to give contribution in this company and not just being passive without any action.
Tell me about a time when your communication skills helped you at your job. When was it and what did you do?
As I said before, I used to work as a waitress and chef assistant. It means that the communication skill is required or needed and very important to communicate well with my customer and the other employees. And not just communication skill, I must have the ability to skillfully multitask, where the kitchen is one of the busiest places in hotel and everything has to be perfect and available in time.
Okay, now give an example of a situation where you had to deal with the conflict at work. What did it consist of and how was it resolved?
If possible, I choose to avoid any conflict because it can give bad impact in my job, but the conflict might happen whether we want it or not. It happened once when the customer gave critique about the food cooked by the chef, and when the waiters or waitress do their job and by calming the angry customer. As a chef assistant, I give my contribution and responsibility by helping the main chef to recook the food if necessary.
You know, we're currently interviewing more candidates. That's why I would like to ask you, why do you think we should hire you? And why do you think we should choose you over other candidates?
Okay, about the reason why you should hire me as one of your employees, because you can see in my job applicant, I have skill and experience that related to your company. So I think with my skill and experience in hospitality industry, I can give my contribution to grow up your company.
Good then, thanks. Now, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I have some questions. First, what will the next step after this interview? And what are primary responsibilities in this position? And my last question is, how many people will I work with in this position in your company? Thank you.
Okay, great. I'll be more than happy to respond. The recruitment process has started not too long ago, and we are evaluating and discussing different profiles internally. I'll be coming back to you with feedback and with an information for the next steps within the next 2 weeks. And if things go according to the schedule, the potential next step planned would be another interview with me and with the department manager. Okay then, thank you very much for coming in. It was a pleasure meeting you, and we'll be in touch.